Have you ever felt like you're pushing a door that just won't budge? You've tried everything, jiggling the handle, throwing your shoulder into it, even looking for another way around, but you're still stuck in the same room, staring at the same four walls. That nagging feeling of being trapped and unable to move forward isn't just in your head. It's not just a bad week or a bad month. It's a pattern. What if the reason you feel so stuck is because of repeating patterns that are wired deep into your brain? We can look at this through a couple of different lenses. From a spiritual perspective, this is a classic sign of what some traditions call karma, unresolved energetic cycles, keeping you from the life you're meant to live. Now, before you click away, this isn't about punishment. It's about an opportunity for profound growth. But there's also a well-documented psychological reason you might feel this way. The truth is, that feeling of being stuck often has its roots in our own neurology. Our brains are designed to save energy by creating automatic habits and responses. When those habits become negative, we get trapped in a loop. So, what if feeling stuck wasn't a life sentence, but a sacred invitation to become who you were always meant to be? So what exactly is this loop? Let's look at both sides of it. First, the spiritual idea. The word karma comes from the Sanskrit word for action. It's a principle of cause and effect, where every action and intention creates a ripple of energy that eventually returns. A karmic loop is a spiritual concept for when we get stuck in a repeating pattern of events, emotions, or relationships. From this viewpoint, it's not a punishment, but a lesson your soul is trying to learn. The universe keeps presenting the same test in different forms until you finally pass. Now let's look at the science. Psychology has a surprisingly similar concept for this phenomenon. It's called repetition compulsion. This is our unconscious tendency to repeat patterns from our past, often from traumatic or difficult events, in an attempt to gain control over them. And on a neurological level, our brains are hardwired for efficiency. They create strong neural pathways around repeated behaviors to save energy, a process that happens in a part of the brain called the basal ganglia. Once a habit is formed, the brain can run it on autopilot, which is why these cycles feel so automatic and hard to break. So whether you see it through a spiritual or a scientific lens, the experience is the same. You feel stuck in a cycle that seems impossible to escape. But how do you know if you're in one? These patterns are often subtle. As I go through these common signs, see which ones land with you. First, recurring negative life patterns. This is the big one. Do you find yourself attracting the same kind of emotionally unavailable partner again and again? Or maybe you keep landing in jobs where you feel undervalued, no matter where you go. It could be a persistent cycle of financial struggle where you make money only to lose it. These repeating stories are a massive indicator of a deeply ingrained pattern. Second, intensely challenging and magnetic relationships. Have you ever met someone and felt an instant electric connection as if you've known them forever? These relationships often become an emotional roller coaster of incredible highs and devastating lows. You might feel inexplicably tied to this person, unable to leave even when it's draining you. Spiritual teaching suggests these are karmic relationships, where two souls come together to work through unresolved issues. Third, unexplained fears or phobias. Do you have an irrational fear that has no clear cause in your current life? A paralyzing fear of water, heights, or abandonment with no specific event to point to? While psychology might attribute this to subconscious processes or trauma, some spiritual beliefs hold that these can be echoes of past events your soul is still carrying and trying to heal. And fourth, just that profound feeling of being utterly stuck. It's the sense of spinning your wheels, putting in massive effort but getting nowhere. This isn't just a lack of motivation, it's a deep, soul-level frustration. Neuroscience tells us that this feeling can be linked to the brain's fear response, where the amygdala perceives change as a threat and keeps us in our comfort zone, even if it's an uncomfortable one. Your mind and body are essentially hitting pause, waiting for you to look deeper. Recognizing these signs isn't about blame, it's about awareness. The moment you can see the pattern, you gain the power to change it. Just pausing here for a moment. If any of this is resonating with you, if you're seeing a piece of your own story in these patterns, do me a favor and hit the like button. It's a small thing, but it tells the algorithm that this conversation is important, and it helps get this video out to more people who might need to hear it. Your support truly means the world. Okay, so how do we actually break these cycles? Recognizing the pattern is the first giant leap, but real freedom comes from conscious action. This isn't about some complex ritual, it's about making profound internal shifts that literally rewire your brain. Whether you believe in karma or just want to break free from psychological patterns, these steps are practical, powerful, and will create real change. Step 1. Radical awareness and responsibility. You can't change a pattern you aren't aware of, so the first step is to become a detective in your own life. This requires radical honesty. Start journaling. Ask yourself the hard questions. What's the recurring story here? What role do I play in this drama? What's the common feeling that links all these events? This is where you have to step out of a victim mentality. Life isn't just happening to you. Acknowledging your part doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means taking your power back. It's shifting from, "Why does this always happen to me?" to, "What is this situation trying to teach me?" When you take responsibility, you reclaim your role as the creator of your life. Every time you feel that familiar sting of frustration, pause. Don't react. Get curious. That single shift from reaction to observation is where the chains start to loosen. Step 2. The practice of deep forgiveness. Holding on to anger, resentment, or guilt is like a heavy anchor that keeps the old loop spinning. Forgiveness is the act of cutting that anchor loose, and most importantly, this starts with forgiving yourself. Forgive yourself for the choices you made when you didn't know better. Forgive yourself for not seeing the red flags. As Maya Angelou wisely said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. Then, work on forgiving others." This doesn't mean you have to condone what they did or even let them back into your life. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It's the conscious decision to release the emotional charge tied to that person or event. You can write a letter to the person you need to forgive, one you never send, pour out all your anger and pain, and end it with the words, "I forgive you, and I release you." This frees up a huge amount of mental and emotional energy that was being used to feed old wounds. Step 3. Consciously choose a different action. This is where the rubber meets the road. A pattern only continues because you keep responding in the same way. To break the cycle, you have to consciously and deliberately choose a different path. I'm not going to lie, this will feel uncomfortable, it'll feel scary. Your brain loves predictability, even if it's predictably painful. So, if your pattern is to shut down during conflict, your new action is to speak your truth calmly and clearly. If your pattern is to jump into a relationship to avoid being alone, your new action is to choose solitude for a while and learn to enjoy your own company. If your pattern is to overspend when you're stressed, your new action is to go for a walk or meditate instead. Start small. The point isn't to change your entire life overnight. The point is to make one different choice today. Every time you choose a new response instead of the old, habitual one, you are actively rewiring your brain's neural pathways. You are proving to yourself and the universe that you've learned the lesson. You are no longer available for that old story. Step 4. Create a vision for your future. Once you start clearing out the old patterns, you create a vacuum. It's essential to fill that space with a powerful, positive vision for what you do want. If you don't have a clear direction, it's way too easy to slip back into old habits. What does a life free from this pattern look like? How does it feel? Get specific. Create a vision board. Write a detailed description of your ideal day. Meditate on the feeling of already living that life. This isn't just daydreaming. This is an act of creation. You're setting a new energetic and psychological destination for yourself. You are telling your subconscious mind, this is where we're going now. When you have a compelling vision for the future, it becomes a North Star that pulls you forward, making it easier to say no to the people and situations that belong to your past. Remember, these patterns are not a life sentence. Feeling stuck doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're ready to evolve. You're on the brink of a major breakthrough. These lessons, as hard as they are forging you into a stronger, wiser, and more authentic version of yourself. Life's challenges aren't supposed to paralyze you. They're supposed to help you discover who you can become. You have the power to break the cycle. You have the courage to heal the past. And you have the ability to create a future that isn't just an echo of what was, but a beautiful symphony of what can be. If this resonated with you, please subscribe and turn on notifications because we're going to dive even deeper into these topics. For your very next step, I highly recommend watching my video on 7 signs the universe is trying to guide you, which will help you recognize the positive signals that show up once you start breaking these old patterns. You didn't wake up today to be average. You woke up to grow, to heal, and to become the person you decide to be. The door isn't locked. You just needed to realize that you've had the key all along.